Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Building Mission Critical Skills to Navigate the GenAI Transformation, Learn, Grow, and Thrive, a podcast series powered by Coursera for Business and People Matters. In this series, we explore the rapidly evolving GenAI transformation around us. And as AI and generational shifts reshape many industries, it's essential to equip the workforce with skills needed not just to survive, but to thrive in this new era as well. I'm your host. My name is Raghav Gupta. I'm the managing director for Coursera India and Asia Pacific. To get us kick-started, I'd like to share an interesting stat that I came across. This is from a recent study, a BCG study, and 89% of execs rank AI and specifically Gen AI as a top three tech priority for 2024. But somewhere around 50-55% of people feel that they are not ready from a skill standpoint and from an organizational capability standpoint when it comes to be able to leverage the power of this technology. And clearly, while we are getting to see the pace at which technology is changing, there's a lot that needs to be done when it comes to understanding the capability of this technology, building skills in our teams, and then being able to deploy that in business. And the skill building is not something which can be done magically. It cannot be done overnight. And so these conversations are important. It's also important to remember that it's not just about cultivating Gen AI proficiency amongst our talent, amongst the broader workforce, but it's about nurturing leadership capabilities necessary for guiding teams through the transformational shifts that are happening in the workplace. And that's a little bit of what we'll focus on today in this episode of the podcast. Today's theme is Skillful Leadership in the Age of Gen AI, Navigating and Driving Change. And we will explore some strategies for leaders to serve as catalysts and change agents in effectively managing some of these AI influenced transformations. Um, I have a great guest today. Really thrilled to welcome Harshita Gupta as our speaker for this episode of the podcast. I'll invite her up onto the virtual stage as well and do a quick introduction before I invite her to say a quick hello to the audience as well. So Harshita is extremely seasoned as a leader in this space. She's got close to 20 years of experience in technology, capability building, strategy, change management, and organizational skilling. And she serves as the executive director of learning and development and technical learning leader at Deloitte India and South Asia. Like I mentioned, she's had tremendous experience in this space. She's driven learning transformation, innovation, and very importantly, aligning learning with business needs. Really big pleasure to have you with us today, Harshita. Excited to hear your thoughts as well. And welcome. I'll let you say a quick hello to the audience as well.
Thank you so much, Raghav, for the warm welcome and a fantastic introduction. Honestly, I'm thrilled to be here. There is so much of buzz going around in the world around AI and Gen AI that almost everyone is talking about it. But it's only talks. The point that you made around adoption is what is critical. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you and help our leaders understand how they can drive that adoption in the firms. That's something that we are heavily investing in at Deloitte. And my endeavor throughout this podcast would also be to share some of the best practices with the larger audience because we believe in working together to build a better world. So, yes,
Wonderful.
excited.
Wonderful. And like we've talked and like I said at the start as well, we'll focus a little bit on leaders and there's so much change happening as well when it comes to Gen AI. So we'll talk about technical skills, but we'll focus on leaders as well. So let's start with that a little bit, right?
Sure.
When you think about Gen AI skills, specifically when you think about leaders, what Gen AI skills are indispensable for leaders? And of course, there are many diverse functions in your organization, in any organization for that matter. But if you were to paint a slightly wider picture from the perspective of a professional services organization, what might be some of that?
Sure, and I think that's a great question. While leadership in general obviously will cover the scope and the span of awareness around Gen AI as we continue to adopt it in our day to day lives. But I think leadership today has evolved into different roles under the larger umbrella. So there is, leadership from the perspective of strategy. There's leadership from the perspective of finance, leadership from the perspective of sales and marketing. And the Gen AI skills that we need are different for each of these roles as leaders. So maybe I'll begin with Gen AI skills for our strategic leadership.
Mhm.
If we talk about strategic leadership, we are talking about building AI integrated vision for the firm. That's to begin with. Because right now, everything is happening in silos. As the strategic and executive leader of the firm, we need our leaders to build unified AI integrated visions for the firm. That's one. Second, and very important, is decision making on AI investments. Now, whether they are related to learning and development, to recruitment, to infra, or to the overall solutions that the firm has to offer to the clients. Those decisions and those investments need to be very informed, and the responsibility of honing those skills to be able to make those decisions lies on the shoulders of the strategic leaders.
Yeah.
So that's the first bucket. Second bucket is our leaders who are out there in the market, sales and marketing. For them, a critical skill is to be able to build meaningful business value propositions of the firm's offerings to the clients. That's one. Second, of course, is to be able to build client roadmaps for their business transformation. Until and unless we can talk about how AI is going to infuse into the businesses of various sectors and industries that our clients in, they will never find value in adopting AI, right? So it's going to continue to be a buzzword only for the techies, but that's not what we want. Today AI is everywhere, and it becomes hence the responsibility of the sales and the marketing leaders to be able to bring that perspective to the table when they talk to their clients, right? That's the second bucket. The third bucket is for our talent teams, our HR teams. For them, AI learning and AI skills is going to be all about how can AI tools and platforms be leveraged for better employee engagement, for retention, for offering the best of best learning experience platforms and learning models, especially when in most organizations today, 50% or more of the workforce constitutes millennials, and they are all used to these tools. They're all used to personalizations around them, and hence a good and an effective engagement tool for our talent strategy and talent leaders can also be AI infused learning platforms. Broadly, these are the three. But of course, as we dive in deeper into, let's say, finance for that matter, or sales and operations, again, it's going to be all about data insights driven decision making, business strategy, and business value proposition. But they will vary. They will vary from function to function. And important is to understand the use cases and bring those perspectives to the client.
Yeah, these are wonderful points. Thank you for kicking us off with this. And as you were talking, right, I was thinking back to our own journey at Coursera along the lines of what you shared. And you started by talking about strategic leadership. You started by talking about an AI integrated vision for the firm, right? And also calling out AI related investments. I remember on our side, a lot of the work on GenAI that Coursera has done
Yeah.
has been led by actually by our CEO, and he became almost obsessed with ChatGPT when it came out back in November 2022.
Uh,
And one of the first things that we did at Coursera was created an internal Tiger team to firstly understand this technology and say, look, what are we going to do with it? And I think the other point that stood out to me very articulately that you spoke about as well is for different leaders, the context is different, right? And for leaders to understand the power of this technology but apply it to their functions, the sales
yeah.
and marketing example that you took or the HR example that you took as well is really excellent. One of the things that we've done, which we've seen resonate very well out in the industry, right? We've created a portfolio of content. There are close to 400 courses on GenAI on Coursera. I checked about 3, 4 months ago, and we were seeing every minute 4 enrollments were happening into GenAI courses on Coursera.
Yep.
I checked last week, and now 10 enrollments are happening every minute on a GenAI course. And globally, we have seen almost 3.5 million enrollments happening in GenAI. Just points to the other fact that you had mentioned, that AI is everywhere, right? And
Yes.
Gen AI is everywhere. And
Yes.
unlike technologies in the past, which have been technical in nature, this is a general purpose technology.
Yeah.
And so, I should be learning it, and you should be learning it, and our technical
Absolutely.
teams should be learning it, and so on and so forth, which is
Yes.
possibly why we are seeing almost a bit of a fire when it comes to learning the skill, a lot of urgency, and also, I think, a little bit of FOMO as well, fear of missing out as well, if you're
Yes.
not learning some of this technology.
Yes.
One additional point I'll make, and then I'll go to my next question for you. And I think you spoke about this as well when you spoke about your leaders who work with clients and bringing Gen AI or AI into the client roadmap. I think that is a super valuable part of the conversation, because I think many businesses are going to see the business model change completely, right? I work in the edtech industry, and one segment of the industry is proctoring.
Mm.
And we're expecting that GenAI will make proctoring either free or so cheap that
Yeah.
for a company to be able to charge, whatever the charges might be today, are going to be extremely hard to be able to maintain. So the entire industry is kind of going to flip a little bit,
Yep.
per se. So thinking about that becomes extremely valuable as well.
Absolutely. The business models are going to change drastically, and that's why for our leaders it's really important to put on their critical thinking and creative thinking and innovation hats. Get into a brainstorming design thinking mode and understand what needs to be disrupted today so that we don't become irrelevant tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's really, really important. And that's happening across, at least at Deloitte. We are rethinking business models. We are trying to, like you rightly said, take that leap even before we can learn to, walk. On AI technology, because it's moving so fast that if we don't adapt to it, then we will be irrelevant very soon. We'll be obsolete very soon. And AI, like most people think, is no longer staying ahead of the curve technology. It's a technology to stay relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very well said. Very well said.
yeah. So, yes, totally agree with all the points you made.
And you shared the context from a leadership standpoint and from a leader standpoint. Let's talk about employees as well, right? And this is what you lead as well at Deloitte. So, as for the firm and broader industry in general, as you think about tailoring AI related, Gen AI related learning and development and training initiatives to meet the unique needs of the workforce, how are you approaching it? Share that with us as well.
Sure. And Raghav, the great term that you use, tailoring, is the key word here.
Hmm.
And I think the learning solutions on GenAI today need to be tailored not just for different businesses, but for different people, for different individuals. Like I mentioned earlier, it's an era of personalization. So we are looking at offering learning programs to our people that are extremely personalized for them. There's no one size fits all anymore. And in a firm like Deloitte, which is a consulting firm, there are varied businesses. We are into tax, we are into audit, assurance, forensics, tech and transformation, you name it. And like you said earlier, the translation of AI into these businesses is going to be very different. And hence, the learning for our people in each of these businesses, by nature of their service line, their domain, industry, their role, their designation, keeps changing. Right, so we are talking about multiple learning journeys which we are offering to our people under the larger umbrella of our Icon Academy. So this academy essentially consists of four different personas, taking care of our techies and non-techies as well.
Okay.
Starts with a persona just for people who are generalists, want to just begin their AI journey, want to understand how common AI tools can help them work smarter and in a more efficient way and get used to the core concepts and jargons around AI. Then we've got a persona which is for our market facing professionals, essentially equipping them with understanding of the now, next, and beyond of AI across industries, sectors, and businesses. This will help them have meaningful conversations around potential use cases on AI with their clients. Third is the persona for our experts. These are people who are techies, who are building assets for clients, new age solutions, and then deploying them. So, those are again a completely different set of programs and learning journeys with certifications. And finally, for our market leaders, our executive leaders and partners, we've got another persona which is focusing on some of the skills that I talked about earlier, be it business value proposition or monetizing the AI assets, building AI driven strategies, etc.
Mhm.
So these four personas again have a further layup of businesses. So these personas take a different shape for tech and transformation, for tax, for forensics, for strategy, risk, and transaction. And we are offering these to our people again in a gamified way. So we've created a hybrid mode of learning where there is self-paced learning through our partnerships with, in fact, the likes of Coursera and with Udemy. And what we are doing is we are offering a combination of anytime anywhere learning plus some boot camps. So
Mhm.
people have the liberty to pick and choose what is the most effective way of learning for them, and they pick and choose the persona that fits their need the best. That's the endeavor. Something that is really helping us is a unified messaging from the leadership team. So it's driven top down, a critical message from them to say it's time for all of us, irrespective of what we do and where we are in the business, to adopt AI in our day to day lives. The way we've done it in our personal lives, we need to adapt it and adopt it into our professional lives as well.
So many of these points that you shared resonate with what I'm seeing as well. And you're doing this at scale, right? Deloitte is a very large
Absolutely.
company in terms of
This is
headcount.
across India and South Asia that I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
of course, globally also, there is a lot happening. There are GenAI fluency campaigns to upskill our people on the foundation level at least. And then the respective regions take on the responsibility of customizing at an advanced and intermediate levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coursera's co-founder Andrew Ng was interviewed by the Economic Times a few weeks ago, and he laid it out very nicely. And I think this might resonate with you. He said, "Look, the if you think about it as a pyramid, right? The base of the pyramid is large language models, which is all the large tech companies who are producing
True.
the LLM models, right? Whether it is a Meta or it's a Microsoft OpenAI and so on and so forth, right? So that's the base. That base needs very large investments. It needs very large computing capability. It needs a lot of data sets and so on. And that's where we've seen a lot of activity which has been spoken about in the media. But his view was that the next layer, which is building applications on top of the basic LLMs,
Yeah.
is where there is a lot of value add that will come. And then on top of those applications will be everybody who's a user of those applications, right? So the
Yeah.
base is LLMs, then there are some producers of these applications, and then there are users. We're doing some work with a bank, and we said, look, you probably have 125 different job roles. Out of those 125 different job roles, about five job roles, only five job roles, are the producer job roles, where you actually take the GenAI technology and you
Yeah.
produce applications which all the other 120 job roles are
Yeah.
going to use then to be able to, leverage the power of these applications. And one of these job roles, which is a user, is a loan officer, right? I'm a loan officer in a bank, and somebody's been a customer of my bank for the last 7, 8, 10 years. But in reality, I know very little about them, right? So if I want to offer them a loan, if I can get to know that individual a lot better and understand what's happening in their life, and then offer something which is relevant for their life stage or for their requirements, the opportunity to do meaningful business to really add value goes up. So maybe the software team creates this app for the loan officer who then becomes a user of that. And I think you kind of reference some of this in terms of, the non-tech folks who are getting introductory level learning, while your expert layer or your tech layer is building the application based layer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful to understand that. I want to just double click on this once a little bit more. So at the G20 in Delhi last year, June, July period last year, this McKinsey study was quoted often, and many CEOs said, look, as per this McKinsey study, there are five, six job roles where the opportunity for productivity enhancement is even more, right? And these job roles are sales, they are marketing, they are product development, they are
Mm.
software engineering, and they are customer operations.
Yeah.
It's going to impact all job roles, but
True.
strategy, finance, corporate, HR, and so on. But these five, six are where the biggest impact is going to lie.
Yeah.
Are you taking that kind of an approach in any sense as well? Are you saying I'm going to double down on some job roles? Or are you saying, look, because we are a professional services company, and I would imagine 80-90% of job roles are customer facing, client facing. Are you equally spreading the focus a little bit across job roles?
Honestly, more than the job roles, I would talk about skills,
Hmm.
because when it comes to job roles, they are interrelated, right? And I think it's again no one size fits all. While we are not focusing on a specific function or a department within the firm, and Deloitte today is into everything, be it building solutions, deploying solutions, or even consulting our clients. It's a 360-degree one-stop shop that we offer. Now, I keep quoting this almost everywhere, that there is this whole fear that is there in the minds of people that AI adoption will take away jobs from specific departments and people will become redundant. I think we need to just open up our minds a little bit more and think about how we need to upskill or reskill ourselves to be able to be ready for the new jobs that will open up.
Yeah.
So while it's definitely taking away some manual and mundane work will be taken away and roles will be taken away, but they will be replaced by some new age jobs.
Hmm.
A smart person and a smart professional would quickly reskill and prepare for that role. And that's the approach that we as a firm are taking.
Yeah.
We have realized as leadership, very proactively realized that our entire workforce needs to become the workforce of future. And in order for us to do that, we need to start today. And hence, all these campaigns are running, the ones that I talked about, to ensure that, the impact of the whole transition that is happening into the AI world is minimal on our people. We are a very people centric organization, and we will continue to ensure that as we grow, we make our people grow as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the saying which is going around a fair bit, and I think a few tech leaders, business leaders have said this, that AI might not replace humans, but humans that use AI might replace humans that don't use AI.
Absolutely.
And I think kind
Absolutely.
of what I'm hearing from you as well. Okay, let me move the conversation forward to challenges a little bit. And you've possibly gone through some of this, but you're still on your Gen AI journey for sure. If you were to think about sharing what you have learned from a challenges standpoint with
Yeah.
our audience, how do you build internal alignment for Gen AI initiatives?
Yeah.
What strategies can you deploy to overcome just getting internal alignment? And
Sure.
also, when it comes to driving adoption of internal alignment, but also internal L&D initiatives when it comes to Gen AI, what has been your experience? What might be your advice to our audience?
Sure. And thank you for asking that question. That's a very relevant question. While all organizations today are trying to adopt AI, but yes, the very first roadblock that they come across is the whole mindset block, the resistance to change. And that is more prevalent in non tech functions or non tech organizations as compared to tech organizations, because for tech, obviously, they will become obsolete if they don't adopt the technology. So that shift needs to happen. And again, it becomes a responsibility of the leadership to have a very clear communication around the vision that they have around AI for the growth of their business. That should be communicated really well to everyone. And that way they would know why they need to upskill, why they need to reskill. That was the first roadblock or challenge. The second challenge is sometimes the lack of awareness in people on how AI can benefit them. We always look at AI from the lens of what AI can do for us,
Hmm.
in terms of how we can, make better solutions for the clients. But how will AI make our own lives easy? That is the big question. And on that, a lot of awareness is needed, which can be done through training programs, through leaders coming together and talking about some of the organization approved AI tools which can be used by the professionals for their day to day work as well. So,
Yeah.
that awareness of tools is important, not just for the clients, but also for self. The third roadblock is sometimes a lack of infra. While some of the proactive organizations have invested heavily in AI to ensure that people have access to these platforms and tools, there are some others who are still in their journey and very nascent to start investing there. I think it's time that we realize a heavy investment is needed there if we are to stay ahead of the curve. And finally, the biggest challenge in most organizations, which are large multinational organizations, is somewhere a misalignment in the visions of various departments. Right. So somewhere there has to be a unified vision, which
Yeah.
is AI integrated. Of course, every function, every department is different. Their goals will continue to be different, very specific to their function, but there will always be some commonalities. So, for leaders to come together, identify those common goals which are unified for the firm, and then align their teams and their strategies is what is important. Otherwise, we will continue to struggle in our silos to adopt AI. So those are some of the things. And in terms of what can we do to help our people adopt AI better and skill better, I feel a big investment is needed in learning and development.
Hmm.
And I keep harping on to that point because so far, learning and development was only looked upon as an enabler for people and for organizations. I think it's now more of a partner in achieving the business vision, because learning and development, I'm emphasizing on development more, is more about how do we prepare our people for future. It's no longer about just skilling our people. And when we talk about AI specifically, if every single individual in the firm does not get trained on the new age technology, let's say in this case AI, whether I'm a professional in a non tech business or a tech business, then I'm losing out on opportunities for the firm and for self. That's one. The second thing is the fact that till the time I do not understand the nuances around AI as well, I will keep making mistakes. A lot of times, organizations fear in adopting AI technologies because of concerns around data privacy, their own data as well as client data, and it's sensitive. There could be legal issues, totally understandable. Again, for that, the solution is training around data privacy, responsible AI ethics, airtight governance models, and legal compliances. Till the time we don't make our people aware, they will continue to fear to adopt AI technologies, and firms will continue to stay laggards in their journey to achieve market leadership.
Wonderful. These are very clearly articulated. Thank you. At the start, and I just want to add on a little bit and react to what you shared as well. At the start, you said, look, resistance to change is what will happen, especially with non-technical people, maybe lesser with technical people. I would just add that it's also important to call out that resistance is natural, right? It's human,
Human. Yeah.
response. When any of us is asked to do something different compared to the way we did it yesterday, our natural reaction is resistance, and
Yeah.
to approach it accordingly, right, is super important. I think you spoke about awareness. You spoke about what's in it for me a little bit, not just for the organization, and infra for GenAI, and misalignment of visions across departments as well. One of the things that we've benefited a lot from at Coursera in terms of infrastructure is right from the get-go, and I'm going back to the learning we had where the CEO has been driving GenAI adoption across the company, is we decided we'll offer an internal playground where all the latest LLM tools and the latest versions of those will be available to us in a private instance because we have enterprise relationships with these organizations. So I can go around and play with any of the LLM tools in a secure environment. And to your point on data privacy as well, and I can learn the usage of those tools, and then I can play around with them as well, right? And what this has helped us do at Coursera is there's a tool called Course Builder that our product team and our engineering team has created, where you can actually literally use AI as an assistant to help you build a new course using existing content, new content, etc. And we've also now have a learning AI assistant called Coach, which can help you in your learning journey. But just the ability to play around with these tools has given the birth to so many ideas, which has now become, business driving initiatives because we are seeing that our customers are
Absolutely.
benefiting from a course builder or a coach and so on and so forth.
100%, 100%. And like I said earlier, AI is all around us. Sometimes we
Yeah.
just don't realize because it's so convenient for us to start using them. We don't bother looking at the technology behind it. Like the way you mentioned an AI assistant for Coursera, we have an AI assistant called Tia. Now,
Mm.
Tia is an assistant for everything that you need help on in the Deloitte world. She's a one stop shop. You ask her questions about the business, about HR policies, about, what is it that you can do to become smarter at a particular process. She'll direct you to the right resources and assets within the Deloitte ecosystem. And at the same time, she keeps checking with you how you're feeling on a particular day. Are you excited? Are you tired? And if you're tired, it suggests certain exercises to you to help you relax a little bit. Those are things around us, and
Yeah.
we don't realize that there is adoption happening whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Just that on the personal front, we find it much more easier. Our smartphones are more easy for us to get used to. But when it comes to adopting this technology in our professional work, we think twice.
Yeah. And if I mean you touched on a very interesting point. If you look at tech products that all of us use, right? The the B2C version of tech products that we've used for the
Yeah.
last 10, 15 years are much ahead of the enterprise versions of products, right?
Yes.
Like a WhatsApp is more intuitive than, let's say,
Yeah.
many internal tools, or an Insta is so much easier than so many enterprise level tools, which need a lot more functionality,
Yeah.
but the intuitiveness might not be what. And the expectation is that, look, if I'm using an internal tool, I expect the UI, the UX, the intuitiveness to be very similar to the personal tools I use as well.
Yeah.
So it does put a bit of a challenge for enterprise tools to catch up in that sense.
Right. In fact, I keep talking about this funny incident wherein, I was trying to talk to one of the consultants about prompt engineering. And the person was a little hesitant to say, oh, okay, I have to go through a training on prompt engineering. And fine, I'll try to find time from my client work. But we don't realize the moment we start using WhatsApp, and there's Meta over there, or we use Chat GPT, we're already into prompt engineering,
Exactly.
right? It's just that the training will help us create better prompts, better questions to get more accurate answers. And sometimes that's why I keep saying this, that we don't realize how much of AI we are already using in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you already spoke about data privacy as a part of our conversation. I just want to ask you anything on legal that you've come across that is helpful again to share with the audience. Here are, your top three things to keep in mind when it comes to data privacy, legal. Anything else that you'd like to add there? I'm also conscious we're coming up on time, but just wanted to
Yes.
bring this last question up as well.
Yes, yeah, and I'll make it short. Actually, for professional services firms specifically, data privacy is a big, big area and a responsibility, and hence the AI journey that we have to adopt AI into our work has to be in the light of also being very, very particular about making our governance models airtight.
Mhm.
Right? Client sensitive information with us all the time. We don't want to run into legal matters. And for that reason, while we run skilling programs on AI, it is also important to run programs on the regulatory and the legal compliances related to it. If we don't create awareness, it will just take one person to put a question related to client trying to put together a proposal on an open platform, and it's all gone.
Yeah.
So, again, putting together a governance model which is compliant with responsible AI and ethical AI guidelines. Two, having a dedicated team on risk management to ensure that there is constant monitoring and there is constant reporting around any deviations. Those checks are important. And third, as and when there are new regulatory compliances that come up and legal compliances around AI adoption that come up, we keep training our people. Those are the three things that are important for us to ensure that we don't get into trouble.
Wonderful. So nicely put. Um, I'm conscious we're at time. I'm going to close this out. Harshita, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your experiences, your views. I've learned a lot, and hopefully, our audience is also learning a lot and getting a lot of very well articulated messages. Um, I think you have highlighted for us that skillful leadership in the age of GenAI is paramount. I think you spoke about that quite a bit. And also, as companies think about embarking on this GenAI journey, it needs to be a part of the overall business strategy. It needs to be a part of the overall company culture per se, right? So, thank you so much for sharing that. And for everybody who's tuning in, thank you for joining us. And hopefully, this has been, insightful. And we look forward to many more of these. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raghav. And thank you for inviting me for this interesting conversation.
Wonderful.